Hey guys, JC the Sniper here, and today I've got a little video on taking care of your knives. One thing that you may have noticed is even stainless steel will rust. You probably can't see it on this blade, but overuse, there's gotten some little speckles of discoloration in this knife that started happening, after a while. It got a little bit wet in my pocket with some sweat and started getting a little bit of speckling on the blade. So what do you do about that, You don't want your blade to rust away. You're going to have to do something about that. A lot of people spray rim oil on their knife. I will do that. And there's nothing wrong with that. The only problem is, I've noticed, you spray some rim oil on there, a lot of times you'll get lint built up on here. And stuff like that will stick to it because the oil's a little bit sticky, and also it can just be messy, and the oil doesn't necessarily stay on there the best. So what I found a while ago was this stuff called Remington dri-lube, or Rem-DriLube, I guess they call it, to stay with their adding rim to the beginning of things, like rim oil, I guess. So, Rem-DriLube, made by Remington. And this is a lubricant which has Teflon in it, and it, when you spray it on there, it leaves a coating of Teflon on the metal. And they intend this to be a lubricant for firearms, so that you can spray it on there and you got a lube that will dry and then last. And they say it leaves a dry Teflon coating for smoother, faster firearm action. I don't know how necessarily your firearm's gonna, I don't know. Maybe it'll make your firearm go faster. I don't know about that. Seems like your firearm, if it's running properly, should be going just as fast as it needs to, but that's what they claim anyway. So, just comes in a little can. I got the 4-ounce one. And what I found is that because this leaves a dry film of Teflon lubricant, it's good for preventing rust on blades. So just take a little cloth. I'd use cotton gun patches a lot of times on my knives, and clean the blade off. Make sure you don't have any finger oils on there or anything. And then just take your dry lube, give it a couple light sprays on one side, couple light sprays on the other, and you don't want to over apply it, because if you over apply it, it'll leave a white film of Teflon, like an actual visible film of Teflon lubricant on it. And you just leave it there for a second, and it dries very quickly. It's very fast evaporating, and it leaves, sometimes you'll get a light film on there, especially after a couple coats, because I'll just keep applying this periodically. And you might get a light film. I'll just take that cotton cloth back and just lightly wipe it after it's dried, to remove the any excess, like if there's just white marks on there. And my knife is now coated in a layer of Teflon lubricant all the way along it, and that Teflon, I found, holds up quite well and lubricates the blade and protects it from rust at the same time. Stopped any rusting that I've had on any of my knives. So I'm quite impressed with it. I think it works well. I can't say how it works as a gun lubricant because I haven't used it for that. But I have used it, like I said, to keep knife blades from rusting, and it works just as well as rim oil, but it's not messy, and it doesn't leave behind, it doesn't stay dampish, so nothing sticks to it or anything. One other thing I've also used it for is the pivot point on knives, because I figured, if it works as a gun lubricant, why not work on knife pivots? However, I found that if you do spray it in there, your action will actually get stiffer for a little bit. I've used it on a couple different knives, and the opening closing got stiffer for a while, and I was like, what the heck? I sprayed lube in here and it got tougher, and whatever, and I'd cleaned it out good beforehand, so I wasn't having trouble figuring that out. But then after wearing it for a while, wearing it in, opening it, closing it some, moving it around, it got broken in, and it got really fast. So If you use it on a pivot point or something like that, you're probably going to have to wear it in a little bit before it'll get to where it's actually, you know, real smooth. But it does work. It just takes a little bit to get a real smooth action. So anyway, Remington dri-lube. A little bit of a, well, I don't know what I would call this video, but little video on Remington dri-lube and how I like to use it. So, JC the Sniper, signing off.